Well, well. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing how that hush suddenly forced us to the center stage. We were wanting to say, we wanted to start the evening, but everybody just suddenly got quiet. And so we knew that was the beginning of the evening. Welcome to an evening of faith, recognition, and celebration. My name is Reverend Nimsabunge, and I'm the pastor of Freedom's Ark in Tottenham, and I chair the Peace Alliance, which is a charity that works with young people and works around community cohesion across London. I also happen to have the privilege of being a deputy lieutenant for Greater London, and as a deputy lieutenant, I have the responsibility with others to support the Lord Lieutenant, who happens to be here today, and you'll be hearing much more from him, in ensuring that our work around supporting the dignity of the Crown and ensuring that we build bridges across London's very diverse communities, working on three core strands around faith, heritage, and culture, that we do a good job of bringing Londoners to evenings like this and opportunities like this when we can network together and make London the great city that it already is. On that note, I'd like to invite Andrea, who will be co-hosting. Go for it.
I already stepped in. Hi, my name is Andrea Doughton. I work for 3FF as the programs coordinator for the schools team, so I oversee the schools work happening in London. It's an absolute honor to be your host here for tonight with NIMS. And just because, unless it's online, things don't exist these days, I'd like to point you to the hashtag Celebrate Faith. So if you hear something inspiring, whatever comes up into your mind, please tweet it and use the hashtag so we can get as much of an online buzz as I'm sure we will create an amazing buzz in this room as well.
One little piece of information, just in case you haven't done so. I'm looking for my phone. Especially if you have kind of connected with the Wi-Fi, you're able to get Wi-Fi calls in here. Could you put it to silent? And I'm sure at this point in time you've identified where the facilities are. The toilets are to my right. And should you hear an alarm, we have no fire drills intended for tonight. So we encourage you, do follow us out. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recognize Londoners who make our city a welcoming place for people of all faiths and beliefs.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. All right, so 3FF is really delighted to be hosting this event, and 3FF has worked to build good relations between people of different faiths and beliefs, including non-religious beliefs, for the past 20 years. Does the video come now, or fill champagne first? Okay, we'll show you a short video now.
Okay, cool.
I've been attending Backer Youth for a while now, and it's important to me because it helps me socialise, find new friends and get stuff to do, not just sit at home and laze around.
Creates chances and it's just like fun and exciting.
To be able to provide a service where people see those who look like themselves, we're likely to reach more people than waiting for people to go and access services that's out there for them.
When it comes to the cricket project, I feel happy and privileged now to help out.
It's for those people that are new in this country. It's mainly about helping people that are in need.
Wow, inspiring. Makes me incredibly proud to live in a city like London. As I was saying, 3FF has worked for the past 20 years, over 20 years, to build good relations between people of all faiths and beliefs. And I would now like to invite up our director, Phil Champagne, to welcome us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, Londoners. We're all Londoners, right? And that's what this evening's tonight is about. But like our mobile phones, if you're like me, sometimes the connection is weak and you drop a call. And belonging, I think, is a bit like that. It's a bit patchy in places. And what we're here tonight about is to celebrate the efforts that organisations are making to strengthen that sense of belonging in London. And I want to just say three things. I want to say something about 3FF, to build on what Andrea has said, something about why we think this evening is important, and finally, I just want to say a few thanks. So first of all, 3FF, Andrea has said what we do, we strengthen relations between people of all faiths and beliefs. Importantly, for us, this is all faiths and beliefs, including non-religious faith and belief, because we all have a belief system, and in this room, there is a huge variety of people who have faiths and beliefs and apply this to the work in their community. And we do this because we work to strengthen relations, because we believe in the creativity that comes from collaboration. And this evening, you're going to witness a lot of this creativity and collaboration. Why this evening? I think often when we talk about faith, it can sometimes get a bad name. But I think in this room, and what you're going to hear more about and celebrate tonight, is the creativity that comes from applying the values we have in our faiths and beliefs to making London a better place. And we really do need to celebrate this. And tonight is very much about that. So I hope we'll all enter in that spirit of celebrating the fantastic work that the organisations here are doing. And we're also doing tonight because through this celebration, we hope that there will be more networking. And after the awards, there will be more drinks and canapes outside. And we really hope that's an opportunity to strengthen that collaboration and for you to meet people that maybe you haven't met before. And we think through that collaboration, we can start to chip away at some of those issues in London that tend to divide and tend to create this kind of patchiness of belonging. And these issues are issues like deprivation, they're issues like access to services, social tension, and they are detailed more in this leaflet. So there are two booklets here tonight. One is about the organisations here, but the other leaflet is a briefing on some of those issues that we need to work on to create more of a sense of belonging, and which these organisations here tonight do. So finally, just some thanks. I'd really like to thank Her Majesty's the Greater London Lord Lieutenant's Council on Faith for the work that they have done with us, and that it's really been a partnership between 3FF and the Lord Lieutenancy, and it's great to see Canalisa here tonight. Thank you very much for coming. I'd really like to thank as well the Royal Society for Medicine for hosting us here in this wonderful venue. And I'd also, if I have forgotten anybody, I'm sure it'll be picked up later. But I'd also like to thank the sponsors tonight, the Immersi Foundation, the Sternberg Foundation, and Exilarx Foundation for the support and the funding that they've provided to help this happen tonight. So that's my bit. I really hope you're going to enjoy this evening. And it's great to see, oh yeah, I forgot to thank the most important people, and that's you lot, but also the organisations that have been brought, you've come here tonight, and also those who've nominated you. There really is a fantastic, if you haven't read this booklet that gives details of the organisations here today, you really should, because it's a great, diverse group of organisations from all faiths and beliefs, including non-religious faith. And the fact that we're all here together celebrating what we do is, I think, a really good message. So thank you all for making the effort to come here tonight. So without further ado, I'll hand you back to our wonderful hosts, Nims and Andrea. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Phil, for that. Now it's my honor to invite Canalisa OBE, the Lord Lieutenant for Her Majesty in Greater London, to take the stage and deliver the keynote address. Please welcome.
Nims, thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First of all, Nims, 2.5 years I've been in this job and I haven't managed to get you to say Lord Lieutenant yet.
It's about my background, sir. I do apologize. In America, they say...
And we care. Well, as you gather from what I've had to say, I've been in this position, this wonderful honoured position of being Her Majesty's representative in Greater London for just over 2.5 years. And in the 2.5 years, I have discovered there is a constant amongst my fellow Londoners, which is everybody has the same 2 questions for me. Actually, often now 3 questions. Question 1 is, what on earth is a Lord Lieutenant? And then once I've explained, they generally follow with a, then how on earth did you become the Lord Lieutenant? And sometimes people say, and have you ever met the Queen? Let me deal with the easy one. Yes, that was number 3. What a Lord Lieutenant is quite important, and it's the reason that this evening has come together in its particular form. It's an ancient position. The first Lord Lieutenant was appointed about 500 years ago, and in those days the job of the Lord Lieutenant was to essentially quell the populace within a county. Every county had one. It was called upholding the dignity of the king, but it meant hitting people on the head, locking them up, and doing other things. Roll the clock forward 500 years, It is still my job to uphold the dignity of the monarchy, but I no longer have the tools available to beat you over the head, lock you up, whatever. Those have been taken by the police and the army and other people. So in the 21st century, fortunately, that isn't really what Her Majesty stands for either. It's not the way that she believes that we should have and enjoy a sense of belonging. And one of the interesting aspects of living in this great country, and particularly this great city, is I would argue that probably 99 out of 100 people don't really pay much attention to what Her Majesty says each Christmas when she gives a Christmas message. And the reason for that, of course, is a lot of other things are going on in your life at that time to do with probably sick grandchildren, far too much food, all those sorts of things. But I would recommend you to take a look at the Queen's messages, because year after year after year, Her Majesty is absolutely consistent on her message. And her message is humanity needs to emphasize, wherever possible, a sense of belonging and collectivity. And faith, she says explicitly most years, plays a fundamentally important part in that sense of belonging and being together. So I've taken her words from her various speeches and turned those into a strategy for the Lord Lieutenant in Greater London. I call it, and Nims preempted it by talking about it, but I call it building bridges. And let me explain the logic behind it, and then the background to why we're all here this evening. It's quite simple. Imagine a large circle, a Venn diagram circle, filled with 8.5 million people. Londoners, us, in London. Then a slightly smaller circle inside it, us again, people who feel that London is for them and they are for London. They help each other, they're interested in each other. Of course, we're busy. We don't spend hours chatting to each other on the Underground. But if there's a disaster on the Underground, an accident, then everybody piles in. Those people in that second circle. And then there's a smaller, very small circle, a core of people who are London, who embody everything about London. I would choose Her Majesty the Queen as an example, Chelsea pensioners, etc. Those people in the core. The gap between the first two circles, though, are people who live in London, but don't feel London is for them, are not getting from London the wonderful things that exist. And I am determined in what will be 12 years, God willing, that I stay in this post, to build bridges between those people who feel disconnected from London, those who feel that London is for them, and those who embody London, to build bridges between those three communities and hopefully reduce the number in that gap between the two. And I'm going to do it, I hope, with the support of my many deputies, and you'll see many of them here tonight. The men are wearing red and white striped ties, as Nims is. The ladies, you're going to have to spot yourself. That's another subject for another time, which I'll come to another time, definitely, but not tonight. But I've got lots of support from my deputies, and many of whom, as I say, are here tonight. And what we're seeking to do is to find ways to build the bridges between those three different groups. It's important to Her Majesty and those who embody London to know that someone is doing what we're doing and that they can help us with reward and recognition, medals, garden party invitations, etc., etc. Ways that the core of our nation recognizes others. It's very important to the people in the middle, the large circle, to know that we are working on trying to bring the rest of London together, and it's vitally important to those in that penumbra that I just described. And my strategy stands on three legs. It stands on legs of heritage, it stands on the leg of occupation, and it stands on the leg of faith. And tonight is a night to examine that third leg in a little bit more detail. The three are sort of obvious, but let me explain why those three. Actually, let me explain the underlying logic of those three. When I first explained this strategy to my colleagues in the London Lieutenancy, it was met, I think, universally positively, with one or two exceptions. And one of the exceptions said to me, I have to say quite aggressively, that he felt that highlighting faith was a mistake. And he actually said, most of the wars in the history of our planet can be attributed to faith. My point is, yes, so can most of the peace activities be attributed to faith, and so much of the good work that's done on the planet is attributable to faith. Therefore, that's not really the point. Anyway, we fell out. He left. I have to say, he subsequently resigned, and I've carried on as life should be. But my point is that those three things, faith, occupation, and heritage, are really important because they are three of the most important defining characteristics for us as people, as human beings. They get to our identity. And I spent many years before this role as chairman of a homeless charity, Thames Reach, in London. Some of you will know them. And what I discovered over those many years was if you are homeless, living on the streets, in a shop doorway, in a garage, in a car park, in a whatever, you have actually fallen down some dreadful, dreadful spiral of what? Of loss of self-esteem. I don't think you can be worse in the context of self-esteem than sitting in a shop doorway, trying to sleep, begging for food, probably prey to drug dealers and so on. And what we discovered in Thames Reach was the antidote to that was to create an environment in which each individual could rebuild their self-esteem. And I would argue that self-esteem stands on those three legs. I am who I am because of my parents, my family, and the place that I live, my heritage. I am who I am because of the job that I have, or the volunteering that I do, or the people that I employ. And I am absolutely who I am because of my faith. And those values that come together from my faith, which doesn't have to be the same as anybody else's faith, bring us together, which brings us full circle back to Her Majesty's consistent messaging over many decades. What David Dangor and his colleagues have achieved with the Faith Council is here tonight. You are, as it were, the products of those efforts. And I'm so grateful to David and to the team for what they've done, because they have, as you will see as we go through the rest of this evening, sought people in our community, in my second circle, who, as you all do, go out of your way to help other people. But you do it not just because you think that's a good thing to do, but you do it because of the driving power of your faith. And we're all very different people here. If you could see the view that I can see, you see the diversity of London in front of us. But tonight, we are united by two things: a faith, which is the rock on which we stand, and a desire to grow the sense of belonging within this great city. And your Lord Lieutenant, on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen, stands front and central in that process. That's why I'm delighted to be supporting Three Faiths Forum. I'm delighted to welcome you all this evening, and I'm looking forward to handing out some prizes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, very well spoken, sir.
Thank you, sir. This event would not have been possible without the incredible work of the Council on Faith. We would now like to invite the chair of the Council on Faith, Dr. David Dangor, to the stage to tell us a bit more about the Council.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here. It was about 2 years ago that the Lord Lieutenant asked me if I would be prepared to chair a Council of Faith, and I said, give me a little time to think about it. And I spoke to one or two people, and I got the same reaction from one or two as the Lord Lieutenant mentioned, which is faith, building bridges. Surely all we hear about today and in our history books is faith actually breaking bridges, faith being the divider. But the honest truth was I already felt in my bones that there are universal core values that faith represents that would be a fantastic way to provide and produce the result that the Lieutenant and Her Majesty wanted, which is to build bridges in this great city of ours. So we set up a group, about 15 people, and we went around to various faith communities, faith organizations, had some discussions, tried to see what we, as representing the Lord Lieutenant, could add to this. And tonight is part of that result that we felt we could add. We had assumed that there would be groups who do wonderful work representing the ideals of faith, but I have to say we were bowled over by the number of inspirational, dedicated, selfless people we came across who are doing the most amazing and sometimes surprising things and inventive things. And these are the bridge builders for tomorrow. You know, London is, in a sense, the city that is showing the way for the rest of the world, because today about 1 billion people, we're told, live in a country they were not born, where all of us, and this is before, of course, the Chinese and the Indians have started traveling extensively. So we're all of us learning to live together and to help each other. And in this travel that occurs, many people need help. They need, just for a short time sometimes, a little bit of a leg up, a little bit of support. And in London, I think it's being done well. It can be done better, and you are examples of those people who will help humanity to learn how to improve and really express the love that a lot of faith expresses for fellow human beings. Over the last 200 or 300 years, the technology and science that man has been able to create has been amazing. But in human relations, we still have some way to go. And I'd like to think that here in this hall today, we have people who are teaching us some of the lessons that we need to put into practice. So for me, interfaith is not about talking with each other, it's about doing. And we have here a room full of doers, and I salute you all. I'm going to leave my thanks to the end of the evening, but I do want to especially thank the Lord Lieutenant for being here and making a very clear signal about how much this work is valued and how we feel the spotlight on this work is going to help encourage other people to do it. So on with the evening, and once again, thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you so much, David, for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn to the main event as we recognize the local projects for service to and for London's faith and belief communities. We'd like to invite the chair of our subcommittee, Bushra Nasir, to the stage, and she's going to explain the process of choosing the award winners. So please, ladies and gentlemen, make Bushra feel welcome.
Good evening, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here this evening. A couple of months ago, when we were sitting down thinking about this event, we thought, oh my goodness, will we have enough nominations? Will we have enough caliber of people that we could actually give awards to? And when we organize an event like this, will we have enough people? There were risks, obviously, with a new event. It's an inaugural event, but mashallah, I'd have to say that it's been wonderful reading the nominations, wonderful seeing so many people here tonight. First and foremost, I would like to thank my fellow judges who were with me throughout this journey. We had 2 members from the Faith Forum. Phil Champagne was one of our judges. Tim, also for Three Faith Forum. Sheila, and Dr. Mustafa Abul Nassar, who also was one of the judges. And what we did is we sent out very widely the nomination forms. We didn't want it to limit anybody, so we put it as wide as possible with the help of Three Faith Forum. And after that, we just held our breath to see what would happen. And really interesting that the forms started to trickle through, and we met after having actually received all the nominations forms ourselves individually. We organised a sort of set of criteria on which to judge the nominations, and they were based around 3 things, which was to do with building bridges, which is obviously our Lord's Lieutenant's mission, about impact and serving communities. And using those criteria on a grid, we went through individually and then came together for a meeting that we hosted at Queen Mary University. And there we spent a really interesting morning going through the application forms. As a judge and as a chair, I felt a great responsibility for going through this in a very thorough way, in a meticulous way, that we could really shine the light on wonderful organisations. And it's a pleasure for us that so many organisations we were able to award, so many organisations we were able to recognise for their very good work. And a token of £500 is being awarded, obviously, tonight to the award winners, and a recognition certificate for the groups that have been recognised and I'm sure in the future will be award winners. As a judge, I can't describe the very humbling feeling I felt reading through those nomination forms. The selfless work that's being done, not in the name of recognition, but serving a community, serving others, helping others in need. And just meeting some of the people here tonight has really highlighted for me of the selfless work that is done. And I feel privileged to be the judge of the panel, privileged that we have got so many people here tonight, and it's an opportunity for us to enjoy and celebrate this evening and recognise all the fantastic work that's being done in London. Thank you very much indeed.
We will now be giving out awards in 4 categories, but before we get onto that, I need to do some awards logistics. So if I could invite Phil Champagne and the Lord Lieutenant on stage, please, to stand over here by this wonderful Faith Recognition and Celebration banner. Photo opportunities. Thank you. So I'm really, really pleased to announce the first category, which is creating interfaith spaces. We applaud 10 local projects for the work that they do in creating interfaith spaces. London's neighbourhoods are multi-faith spaces where people of different faiths and beliefs come together and share the same public spaces and services. These effective local projects create community hubs that are open to all. Think about lunch clubs, food banks, night shelters. These become places where neighbors work together to make people from all backgrounds, faiths, and beliefs feel welcome and at home in their local areas. Working at a neighborhood level, people leading these projects identify people who need support and work overtime to connect them with life-saving public services offered by local councils and larger charities. Bushra will now introduce the award winners.
Could I ask the first 2 groups to stand, please? The first 2 rows to stand. Okay, we will be calling people up on stage. So this is the category of local communities creating interfaith spaces. The Bengali Women's Group Lunch Club.
Woo!
Community Focus. Greenwich Winter Shelter. Merton Winter Night Shelter. Norwood and Brixton Food Bank. Parental Engagement at Marion Richardson School. Alison Jones and Romana Begum. PL8 for You, Al Safa. Springfield Community Flat. Safra, North West London. And Women Together.
Okay, we missed Greenwich.
We are now going to take a group photograph with them. Can I invite the Lord Lieutenant and Phil to come into the middle? And can I ask Lord Lieutenant, the Lord Lieutenant to come? Yes, right in the middle, sir. Okay, just right there, sir. And could we go on each side? Thank you. There you go. Are we good? Yes. I do apologize. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, what we'd like to do is, all of these people are winners. They've done a wonderful, wonderful work in their own organisations. But we do have a judges' prize for an organisation that we think represents really all this group. But we wanted, as a judges' prize, to give that award to Community Focus. Okay, and if Community Focus would like to say a few words.
I really didn't expect this at all, but as our charity name is Community Focus, we really are focused on the whole of our community. In our case, it's regardless of faith, disability, age. We really are right across the community. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll wait. Whilst we allow our guests to find their seats again, I'd like to thank you, Bushra, for that. Now I'd like to introduce the second group of award winners. These projects are doing excellent work by hosting inclusive spaces. London's churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples provide social connection and belonging in local communities for people for each faith. When places of worship open their doors to serve people from all faiths and belief, they extend hospitality to the entire community. These projects mobilize volunteers from faith groups, helping them to live out their faith by helping others. In the process, it increases the group's own sense of belonging in London. Some of these projects have been operating for decades, offering connection, advice, and support on a weekly basis to their communities. These projects represent the best of London's faith communities, providing an example for others to follow in making our places of worship an inclusive place of hospitality. Busher will now introduce these award winners.
Thank you very much indeed, Nim. it's with great pleasure that I ask the winners of the Faith and Belief groups hosting inclusive spaces to come on stage. We start off with Autumn Rose, it's the Balham Seventh-day Adventist Church. Good evening. Thank you. Next is the Baraka Community Association. Next is Open Door. This is the Christ Church at Gypsy Hill. Next is RCCG Rivers of Joy Church. Welcome. Sorry. Open house at Oasis Church, Waterloo. Rumi's Cave. Sikh Welfare and Awareness Team. St Mark's Church, Kennington Debt Advice Centre. The Caribbean Hindu Cultural Society Lunch Club. And last but no means least, Upper Mitcham Women's Organisation. Okay. Yes, should we do the speak?
We invite you.
Group photo?
Please come.
Thank you. And it gives me great pleasure to really congratulate all the winners. They're fantastic projects that we read through. But the Judges Award for the Faith and Belief groups hosting inclusive space is the Autumn Rose Club, the Balham Seventh Adventist Church. Adventist.
This is an amazing opportunity for us, and it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to receive such an award. When I received it, I remember thinking, this is just like receiving in the scripture which says, my reward is with me. So I just thank you all for your, oh my God, getting emotional. Thanking you for recognizing us. Thank you so much.
Great. Before we go on to give out more awards, there's a quick entertainment break for you. And there's a piece of film and spoken word that we want to share with you. And this piece of film and spoken word is created by 26 young people who are the pioneers of 3FF's new program called Amplify. And Amplify is an arts-based, youth-led program for sixth forms and further education colleges, which creates and strengthens safe spaces within educational institutions for exploring issues around faith, belief, identity, belonging, but also how that all sits from a personal perspective within all the wider social and political trends that are going on in the world. And a rapidly interconnected, globalizing world. So this program focuses on three key principles, one of which is critical investigation, the other is creative expression, and the final one is access to platforms to give voice to that creative expression and ideas that have come from that critical investigation. These platforms can range from arts and community spaces to educational institutions to the corridors of power, whatever they may be, where young people can make their voices heard. Now, the way that I would like to frame the video that you're about to see in the context of this evening is it's a manifesto created by young people, rooted in their personal experiences about issues that they care deeply about. It's quite raw and it's quite passionate, and I think a lot of the issues that this manifesto addresses speak to the importance of the work that you all are doing in London today. Because a lot of what they touch upon in terms of things they'd like to change and things they'd like to see better is actually all of the hard work that you are doing. So it's a recognition of the importance of your work because the young people in this video that you'll see are calling for it. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to the tech team to show you the Amplify video.
One. So this is such an amazing event. There's so many fantastic organizations here that are working really, really hard towards social change for the better in the whole world. It's really, really inspiring to us, and this is our contribution to it. We've made this video we've worked on it for the better part of the past year. We really, really hope you'll enjoy it, and we hope it'll inspire a whole lot more of you, just like you guys have inspired us. And don't forget to share it, if possible, on all sorts of social media at #Amplify2017. Well done! You nailed it! That was right.
This body, a jigsaw craving assembly,
is home to greatness.
A personality that projects enthusiasm and joy.
A voice that soothes like food to hunger.
Fire that fuels life. A smile that lights up darkness.
Love.
As deep as a lioness's care for her cubs.
Legs that strike to the higher places I deserve to be at.
A heart filled with passion.
This body is home to greatness.
It will not be said of my generation that we did not believe.
That miseducation and irresponsibility was our legacy.
They will not say we stood for inequality, not Islamophobia,
Racism,
xenophobia, homophobia, or any other form of dehumanization. They will not be able to say we stayed quiet or didn't step up
and
that we did not make a difference. We believe in a world of peace, not hearing about tragedy or not seeing death every time the TV blinks. One death is a tragedy.
1 million is a figure.
People should not be scared to state their opinions. In the world I dream of, discrimination does not exist. Kindness and being genuine are not rare. And opportunity is universal.
We are entitled to freedom.
Respect, safety, a voice, free quality education, and the liberty to celebrate our identities. Do you doubt our capabilities?
Because media calls us immature,
Lazy,
ungrateful,
terrorists, or failures? I guess nobody told you. I am from gold and revolution.
generations of warriors.
men and women of great accomplishments.
A father who moved worlds to give me the education he never had. Women who showed men how to be great.
If and when I fall,
I will get back up. Thank the earth for catching me.
I refuse to destroy myself in the grasp of things that went wrong.
I remember when my mom overheard a woman tell her son she was a prostitute. Her proof was my mother's good looks and South American roots. I watched her trade her identity to blend in, evaporate the judgment awarded to her daily without merit.
A summer school last week. Two uninvited boys placed a camp on lockdown. When the organizers spoke of danger, I was sure of one thing. The only weapon the boys had was the color of the skin, my skin.
I will not be restricted by description that squeeze me into a box.
I will not be restricted by descriptions that will squeeze me into a box.
Sometimes I fear the world is falling down.
People are banned from entering the country for being Muslim.
Afraid of being close to the end of the platform because you wear a hijab. When cheaper cladding is more important than our lives. Why is bombing a common occurrence when the comfort of the rich outweighs the safety of the poor? Why does social class determine our fate?
We believe in better.
We believe in better.
We believe in better.
We believe in better.
We
believe in better. Because change starts with me.
I will wake up with ambition.
Fight and succeed.
I will not make anyone feel like they have to change to fit. I will stand up for others and myself. My faith compels me to help people in need.
Spread peace.
These things I know to be true.
We will make the world a better place.
Actions speak louder than words.
Imagine tomorrow we swap places.
You poor, me rich. You young, me old.
Show me today how you would want me to treat you.
This I know for sure. There is only one me.
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 You will listen because my voice matters.
You will listen because my voice matters.
You will listen because my voice
You will
matters.
listen because my voice
You
matters.
will listen because my
You will
voice
listen
matters.
because my
You will
voice
listen
matters.
because my
You
voice
will
matters.
listen because my
You
voice
will listen
matters.
because my
You
voice
will
matters.
listen
You
because
will
my
listen.
voice
You will
matters.
listen.
You will
My
listen
voice matters.
because my
You will
voice
listen.
matters.
You will
Because my voice
listen
matters.
because my voice matters.
You will listen because my voice matters.
I want to thank all those who have supported this project. I want to thank the 3FF and the young people who were part of this. And I ask you to get this message as far as wide as possible. Let young people know that their voice is being heard. We will listen because their voice matters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to know our third group of award winners. These projects are being recognized for their work to improve health and well-being of Londoners. All the awarded projects reduce social isolation and improve the quality of life of Londoners. These projects have created specialized support for the health and well-being of Londoners. Local groups offer drop-in centers for vulnerable people with mental health issues and for refugees and asylum seekers. Other projects offer specialized health and well-being services, drawing on their expertise, support for isolated people in Barnet, interfaith nutrition classes in Woolwich, housing and counseling for women vulnerable to trafficking in King's Cross, one-to-one counseling for Muslim women in Tower Hamlets, support groups for long-term carers, and accredited counseling programs for religious leaders in Wandsworth. These effective local projects also work as connectors, referring people in need to specialized services offered by larger charities and local councils. Before Bushra announces these award winners, I'd like to invite the Lord Lieutenant and Phil Chapman, don't laugh, back to the stage. Please welcome them back to the stage. Bushra, would you be so kind as to announce our award winners?
My great pleasure to announce the winners for the Improving Health and Wellbeing category. The first is Elith, Northwestern Reformed Synagogue Refugee Drop-In Centre. Being alongside, this is the Association for Pastoral Care in Mental Health, Forest Hill Drop-In Centre. Next is Courthouse Community Centre, the Jamyang Buddhist Centre. Next is Food for Purpose. Next is Larches Community. Next is the Miriam Women's Services and Centre. Next is the Refugee Cricket Project. next is the Streatham Drop-In Centre for Asylum Seekers and Refugees. And I'd like to invite up Wandsworth Community Empowerment Network. Thank you. And last but no means least, Women at the Well.
Can I invite you to go with them? Phil, please. Please come back to conference and take pictures. We're going to do this finally step forward. Okay, behind you. There we go. Can I have some on this side? Please come to this side. Would you come this way, please? Thank you. There we go. Are we all in? Step. Would you step forward because the photograph, we can't see you there. Are we good? I might ask, yes, come right here. Thank you. There you go. Step out. There you go, side by side. Are we edged in? How is this looking? Perfect. Let me walk around. Thank you very much. Please stay. Please stay for a minute.
It gives me great pleasure to give the Judges Award for Improving Health and Wellbeing to the Miriam Women's Services and Centre.
Thank you very much. It's a real honour. And it's a real honour to serve in the Mariam Centre. We have over 3,000 women accessing our services, providing advice and guidance and a free counselling service. It's a platform for all faith communities, cultures to meet, and it's an absolute pleasure to serve in the masjid. Thank you.
Thank you. We are getting it there. We're getting it.
And now for our fourth and final category of award winners. These projects offer specialized services at a local level. They started small and local, but over time they've established specialized services which extend belonging to faith and belief groups who are often overlooked and excluded. They teach employability skills to young people and connect them with opportunities beyond their neighborhoods. They advocate for better media coverage of faith groups and educate the public about London's history of migration. They provide classes for newly arrived families settling into life in London and offer effective housing solutions to the homeless. They also provide key support to people suffering financial trouble in burying their loved ones. These projects represent the power, the grassroots power, of local groups to build effective social services from the ground up. Let's give them a round of applause. Bushra will now announce the award winners.
Gives me great pleasure to call out the winners for offering specialised services Education, Advocacy and Employment in Housing. And I'd start off with the Asian Resource Centre of Croydon. Harris Haringey. Next is Shavram Youth Organisation. Next is Highway House Shelters. Next is an organisation called Jawab. Okay, the Joel Community Services. Next is Making Communities Work and Grow. Next is Quaker Social Action. Next is the Migration Museum Project. It's my great pleasure to award the last group in this category, Youth First.
This is the fourth time lucky. We should get this right. Lord Lieutenant. Right here, thank you. Bill, right. Can we huddle? There we go. Please applaud my effort.
Okay, it gives me great pleasure to announce the Judges Award for offering specialised services, education, advocacy and employment and housing to the Shavram Youth Organisation.
Greatly honoured to be standing here, very emotional. And to be a part of the faith communities here in London, something special, something really, really special. Thank you to the Lord Lieutenant and to everybody who's been involved in tonight's most wonderful, amazing event. I just want to say a short word. You know, we're coming to the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. Festival Lights Hanukkah is when we light an extra candle every night for 8 nights. And I'm just thinking, beautiful. This is the beautiful community, faith communities of London. Another candle each night. We get to the 8th night, we get 8 candles lit. The beautiful lights of the faith communities here in London, all represented here tonight. I thank you to the judges, I thank you everybody, and I thank you London for allowing me to be a part of this most wonderful community. Thank you.
Please. Yes. That was an excellent speech. Ladies and gentlemen, as I stand looking at this amazing crowd of men and women, young people who are making a difference in our city, I recognize that we can never recognize everybody. And even tonight, we want to recognize another special group of Londoners. There are 32 inspiring projects working to make London a place to belong. We don't have time at the moment to go through those 32 names. You'll be able to find their names on our website, on the 3FF website, and on page 22 of your brochure. However, those of you who already know you're part of those 32 projects, forgive us for not calling your names, but you are on page 22. That said, we would not have you sat down without recognizing you. Would you kindly stand? We want to celebrate you. Please stand. Please stand. We want to acknowledge you. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making London so amazing. You are the unsung heroes of our city. Thank you so much. What we would ask is, at the end of this, and Andrea, I think that would be you inviting them to
Network at some point.
At some point, but before that,
Yes.
there is a little bit of work that I think you'd like them to come forward and certificates.
Thank you.
I'll let you know that.
Right.
Yeah.
In a few minutes, we will call you
Yeah.
forward to receive the certificates and take photos. Thank you very much. So, could I call you forward to NIMS?
No, not yet, dear. Not yet. You see, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is...
This is a very transparent process into
Yes,
the
it is.
logistics
It is.
and
It
how
is.
difficult
It
it is
is.
to kind of get these things right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So what Jonathan said to us in our script was that they would... That Jonathan right there.
Big round of applause to Jonathan.
They would come at the end and they would take a picture with the Lord Lieutenant and Phil. That's right. At the end. Bingo.
At the end. Now on to the thank yous.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Great. As we draw this evening to a close, we would like to thank a few people who made this event possible. First, to our sponsors, the Excellart Foundation, the Mercy Foundation, and the Sternberg Foundation. Also, a special thanks to the Greater London Lieutenancy, the Lord Lieutenant, Mr. Kenolisa Obi, David Dangor, Chair of Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Greater London Council on Faith. It's a mouthful. Give him a round of applause. To all all the Deputy Lieutenants who sit on Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenant's Greater London Council of Faith, please raise your hand so you can be recognised. Special thanks to the steering committee from the Lieutenancy of the Council of Faith who helped coordinate the event. Bushra Nasir. Dr. Sheila Gavold. Sheila? Reverend Nimza Bungay. And Babulai Sethia. Also, a thank you to the judging panel. Again, Bushra Nasir. Dr. Mustafa Abu Lisan. Dr. Sheila Gavold. Phil Champagne. And Tim Mortimer. Where is he, Tim? Oh, okay, well, applause to Tim. Thank you to the Greater London Lieutenancy Office for its invaluable support, especially Mr. Joe Baker, Miss Yvette Attori, and Molly Lynch. Give them a round of applause. Also, thank you to the Royal Society of Medicine for providing this beautiful venue and the hospitality for tonight's event at 1 Wimpole Street. And last but not least, thank you to all of you that nominated the awards for tonight, because without you, this event wouldn't have been possible. And finally, last not but least, thank you to the 3FF staff and interns that work tirelessly to bring people in London of all faiths and beliefs together. Thank you for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw this great event to a close, I'd like to invite David Dango again back to the stage to offer some closing remarks. David, would you please?
Well, I must say I was surprised. I've asked Nims to say lieutenant so many times, and suddenly it's happened. Nims, has been a wonderful compere. It's been a wonderful evening. And the thanks have been said, so I'm not going to repeat them. But I do want to make two special thanks. I want to repeat my thanks to the Lord Lieutenant, because in honoring all your work, we also give honor to all the others who do similar work. And I think that's very important. And the second mention I want to make is the Three Faiths Forum. It's been doing very good work for 20 years. It was set up by Sir Sigmund Sternberg, the late Sir Sigmund Sternberg, who passed away a year ago. But happily, his son, who is now chair of the Three Faiths Forum, Michael Sternberg, is with us. And I think their work is outstanding. There are many faith organizations in London, to our good fortune, but I think they stand out, and tonight they've shown just how much they do for London. Thank you very much. While I'm at the stage, I'd like to make two short requests. We'll try and put some of this information as well on the Lieutenancy, the Greater London Lieutenancy's website, with the permission of the Lord Lieutenant once the office has been consulted about it. Do please go there. I think it will be a nice resource for people to look at. And the second thing is to mention the Queen's Award for Voluntary Services, because that is a way in which the Queen does recognize voluntary service, and you come across a lot of people who for many years have been doing this kind of work. London is sometimes underrepresented in these awards. You're probably all too busy doing the work. But I think, again, the recognition is a signal to others that this work is valued. And if there is someone you know, the forms are online, we can help. Please do nominate them. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, David. What's a good event without networking and food, right? Thank you so much. We would now like to invite you to join us in the atrium for food, drinks, and networking, because one of our aims of tonight, as Phil and David have mentioned as well, and the Lord Lieutenant, is really to bring people together and to get people talking and connecting. So we encourage you to use this opportunity to connect to other people, share details, make plans, continue the conversations. All of the award winners and recognized projects will be wearing badges. So if you saw a project tonight that you find really inspiring and you're keen to find out more about, please go talk to them because they want to talk to you. We're also privileged to have so many deputy lieutenants with us tonight, and they're also wearing badges, and they also really want to talk to you. So please feel free to talk to them, introduce yourself, because they have a wealth of experience in community work. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, the Cavendish Room? Bushra? Yeah? Cavendish. We tried to rehearse this, but it didn't work out. So the Cavendish Room next to the atrium, we have a space set aside for discussion. So if you want to share ideas for community work in London, talk about how we can work together, talk to 3FF staff members, they will be there to connect with you as well. Also in the Cavendish Room, we will have a media area that you are welcome to visit. Our videographer will be interviewing people, so it'd be great for you to share your experiences of tonight. And there will also be a space to take group photos. And Bushra has also let me know that there's a comment book floating around at some point, which should make its way past you. So please do leave your thoughts in that as well, because it's really, really valuable to have your ideas and experiences on record. So yeah, I'm pleased to hand over to Nims. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have an unscripted question. And it's always dangerous when you go off script. Do you think we should do this again?
Woo!
The reason I asked, that was quite middle. So let me try that again, just in case you weren't listening. And you see, I've got the Lord Lieutenant here, and I need him to know whether you support us doing this again. So do you think we should do this again? Yeah! Thank you. I really think we should. I think that we should recognize that this space exists, and we've heard about the Queen's Award, and there's so much that Londoners are doing, and we heard from David. Please get onto our website. I want to reiterate this. Learn the opportunities to just get people and projects recognized in our city. We can do much more in this city. And if you don't understand how, I really encourage you to speak to a deputy lieutenant. You would see us with the red badge and it says deputy lieutenant. Look out for them. They may not necessarily be wearing this tie, and certainly if they're ladies, they would not. So what I'd ask you to do is just walk around in the networking room and start looking at each other's badges. And that's going to force so many different conversations and new networks. Let's make that happen. And to those 32 projects, I invite you to please come on down just immediately after. As a matter of fact, may I ask you to start edging out, so you start making your way down at this point, so you don't get, as you're walking down to the edge, because we're going to invite the Lord Lieutenant and Phil in a minute. So the 32 projects, please kindly ease out at this point in time, and we can applaud them as they ease out. Just ease out to the side, please. I'd want to say this. Can I thank you? I want to thank you for making tonight work. I want to thank you for coming. And we want to thank you on behalf of 3FF, especially, I do want to mention this because, Phil, I think it's so important we do that. Jess, where are you? Jess, I want you to please recognize this young lady. She has been so amazing. Jess, I want to thank you. You have been amazing. Thank you. And Jonathan, who's made sure that we sit on the right spot and we say all that, you know, Andrea and myself were going through a script. And there was a point, allow me to be informal. And he said, what was that bit, Andrea? Because this is the humor bit. When he said, thank you, Ken, exclamation mark. So we were meant to go, thank you, Ken. Jonathan, you've been amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this amazing evening. Andrea, would you want to say your final thanks?
Final thanks. You guys have all been amazing, and please enjoy the rest of the evening and getting to know each other even more, and let's create more of this amazing work.
Projects, please come on board. Can we invite you to please come to the stage, please?
Ay, ay, ay.